Silence is often misunderstood. People mistake it for surrender, for fear, for a lack of confidence. They assume that if you are not speaking, you have nothing to say. If you are not reacting, you have nothing to feel. But the truth is far more complex and far more powerful. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is the loudest proof of strength a person can carry. There was a time when he used to explain himself to everyone. He defended his choices, justified his delays, and tried to make people understand the weight he carried inside. He believed that if others knew his struggles, they would be kinder, more patient, more supportive. But life taught him otherwise. The more he spoke, the more opinions he received. The more he explained, the more he was judged. And slowly, painfully, he learned that not everyone deserves access to your story. The shift did not happen overnight. It came after countless disappointments, after realizing that words often fall on ears that are not listening, only waiting for their turn to respond. He noticed that people were quick to label him when he stayed quiet. They called him weak, confused, lost. Some assumed he had given up. Others believed he lacked ambition. None of them knew that silence had become his shield, not his surrender. Inside him, battles were being fought every single day. Doubt wrestled with hope. Fear challenged discipline. Exhaustion tested his resolve. But these battles were private. He did not announce them. He did not seek applause for surviving them. He fought quietly because he understood something most people never do. The strongest transformations happen away from noise. There were moments when staying silent was harder than speaking, when accusations came without proof, when people misunderstood his intentions, when his patience was mistaken for indifference. Silence in those moments felt heavy, almost unbearable. His tongue burned with unsaid words. His chest tightened with things left unexpressed. But he chose restraint over reaction, understanding that not every situation requires your voice, and not every misunderstanding deserves correction. Silence gave him space to think, to observe, to understand patterns he had missed before. He began to see how people reveal themselves when you stop interrupting them, how intentions surface when you allow others to speak freely. In his silence, he learned more about the world than he ever had while speaking. He also learned about himself. Without constant external validation, he was forced to face his own thoughts. Some were uncomfortable, some were painful, but all were honest. Silence stripped away distractions and excuses. It confronted him with who he truly was, not who he pretended to be. And that confrontation, though difficult, became the foundation of his growth. People often think confidence looks like constant expression, like asserting dominance in conversations, like always having the last word. But he discovered a deeper kind of confidence, the confidence that does not need approval, the confidence that does not rush to prove itself, the confidence that knows its worth even when no one else acknowledges it. As time passed, his silence began to change its meaning. It was no longer emptiness, it was presence. When he spoke, people listened because his words were no longer wasted on unnecessary explanations. They were measured, intentional, grounded. His silence had taught him the value of precision, the power of timing. There were still people who underestimated him, who mistook his calm for compliance, his patience for passivity. They believed he would never rise because he did not announce his climb. But they did not see the hours spent learning, failing, refining. They did not see the discipline built in isolation, the resilience forged in moments of quiet despair. Silence gave him resilience. When things went wrong, he did not panic publicly. He processed privately. When he failed, he did not broadcast excuses. He analyzed quietly. This approach did not make him emotionless. It made him controlled. He felt deeply, but he chose carefully when and how to express it. There was a season when life tested him relentlessly. Opportunities slipped away. Plans collapsed. Progress felt invisible. People around him moved ahead, celebrating milestones he had once dreamed of. In those moments, silence protected him from bitterness. Instead of complaining, he observed. Instead of envying, he learned. Instead of giving up, he adjusted. He realized that silence is not about suppressing emotions. It is about mastering them. It is about choosing growth over noise, clarity over chaos. It is about understanding that not every thought needs to be shared, and not every emotion needs an audience. One day, someone asked him why he had become so quiet. The question was not curious, it was dismissive, as if silence automatically meant defeat. He smiled, not out of arrogance, but out of understanding. Because he knew something they did not. Silence had rebuilt him in ways words never could. In silence, he learned patience. He learned to wait without resentment, to trust timing without panic, to move forward without external encouragement. He learned that the loudest applause often comes too early, and the most meaningful victories arrive quietly. There was strength in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Strength in walking away from arguments that offered no growth. Strength in refusing to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Strength in letting results speak instead of words. Over time, his silence began to unsettle people. Not because it was weak, but because it was unreadable. They could not predict him. They could not manipulate him through emotion or pressure. His calm made others uncomfortable because it reflected a control they lacked. And when success finally began to take shape, it did not announce itself loudly. It appeared steadily, solidly. Built on discipline, not drama. Built on consistency, not constant explanation. Those who once doubted him were surprised, but he was not. He had seen it coming long before anyone else did, in the quiet moments when no one was watching. He understood then that silence had not delayed his journey. It had refined it. It had filtered out distractions, false validation, and unnecessary comparisons. It had kept his focus intact when noise would have scattered it. Silence also deepened his empathy. He became more understanding of others' struggles, more patient with their flaws, because he knew that behind many loud voices are unheard fears, and behind many quiet faces are untold battles. He learned not to judge quickly, not to assume weakness where there might be strength. In a world that constantly demands expression, choosing silence became an act of self-respect. It allowed him to protect his energy, his vision, his peace. It reminded him that his worth was not measured by how much he spoke, but by how deeply he lived his values. Your silence is not weakness. It is strength in its most disciplined form. It is the pause before precision, the stillness before clarity, the foundation before growth. Silence is where you learn who you are without the noise of opinions. It is where resilience is built, character is shaped, and purpose becomes clear.